Hello, everyone. I'm Jake.
I'm Hannah. Welcome back. It's been 6 months.
Since we did a Bible study?
It's been 6 months since we did a fucking Bible study.
Oh, well, that's okay, because the world is burning. And which is partially good. So, first off, I'd just like to say, just to sort of separate the fat, like lift the excess off the top of the Hannah and Jake soup. Black Lives Matter. And now you can leave if that's a thing that you disagree with. So carry on. Anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with this, really, except that Jesus said to love your neighbor, and black people are your neighbor. So if you're a Christian, weird that you're here, but also figure out your shit. So we're here to talk about Jesus. Has a feeding fetish. Have you ever seen anything like that, where it's like usually like a skinny guy or a skinny lady, and they feed their partner until they're 600 pounds? That's Jesus.
On one of those shows on TLC, I saw it, and that's I'm not for kink shaming, but you're literally like,
I am for kink shaming in this scenario. Like there's some kinks that aren't okay, like I don't know, flaying somebody. Not a good one. Not a good one.
Hey,
this is...
if someone wants to be consensually flayed, I'm not gonna stand in their way, goddammit.
Well, I mean, I guess I assumed that it was their single kink, but sure, if you want to be flayed, then go for it. But yeah, this is the Jesus feeds the 5,000, and then another number, and then he'll go back to an original number. It's all over the place, and it's not necessarily that interesting, except that the people in charge of Bible decided to just tell us how much he fed people. I guess that's the crux of it.
Yeah. So, I guess we're going to start in Matthew chapter 14, verse 13. Jesus feeds the 5,000.
When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. Hold up. How did they follow him on foot if he could only get to the solitary private place via boat?
Maybe they followed on the shore, or maybe the walking on water miracle isn't that impressive, and everyone just had boat shoes at the time,
boat
and
shoes?
we don't know about it. Yeah,
that
like
sounds unlikely.
Leonardo da Vinci drew up plans for boat shoes. Maybe he was relying on biblical accounts to design those.
Is that a thing?
Boat shoes? No, because you can't get traction on the water.
Maybe.
Leonardo da Vinci, though, he doesn't give a fuck.
No, I mean, is Da Vinci trying to do boat shoes a thing? Not our boat shoes a thing.
Oh yeah, he tried to do boat shoes. He tried to do a bunch of stuff that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
You know, Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci is a Renaissance man, and he had a lot of ideas that were before his time.
Mm-hmm.
But frankly, I think it was just because he threw a lot of random shit at the wall, and some of it stuck. You know what I mean?
He's the R.L. Stein of inventors.
Yeah, for every haunted mask, you have 6 or 7 where that kid's a fucking bee. Yeah.
When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick.
Was he not going to do that already?
I don't know. It's like weird that, like, is that supposed to be like a... Imagine being half God and choosing not to heal the sick.
Yeah.
When you have the ability to do so, you just go, boop, it's over. Takes you no time whatsoever.
It's like Zack Snyder, Ayn Rand Superman that doesn't think he has the responsibility to use his power. Because you know what Uncle Ben said? You got a bunch of power? Fuck it. You don't owe anyone anything.
Kevin Costner. Costner died in a tornado and said, don't save me.
Yep.
Yeah, idiot. I'm glad he died in that movie. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, release the Snyder Cut. Also, this is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food. It's not that remote. If everyone's there, it's not remote at all. It ceases being remote.
Also, frankly, those people knew they were going for a day out. They were going to go hear this dude speak. because there's no movie theater. There's nothing they can do.
Boil
So they
some
gotta
eggs,
go
bring
out.
some trail mix.
Yeah, bring some food. Do you expect the sermon to be catered? This isn't
This
a
is
church
bullshit.
circa 2020 where old grandma, who's probably racist, but she cooks delicious cookies, is going to provide a continental breakfast for the congregation.
Do you know what this is? This is thousands of Kramers showing up and just eating whatever they want out of your fridge without asking. This is that. Don't be that. Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And then they look around and they go, I mean, we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. So, can you count?
That's not a very nutritious lunch either. I get it. They don't have macronutrients. They don't fucking know. But you're basically eating a fish sandwich with nothing else on it. And that's disgusting.
You could have omega-3 fatty acids in bread. That's all you need.
Remember when we worked at McDonald's and the fillet of fish would sit in the warmer for like 5 hours at a time?
That's when it's best, when it gets floppy. when the fish itself, like whatever's inside, the lattice of proteins that create cod break down into its natural gelatinous form. So you can just go and it just wiggles. Remember when you used to do that thing? Wait, I could probably do it now. You know that optical illusion with the pencil, and it looks like it wiggles?
Yeah. Yep.
This is the fillet of fish after 5 minutes in the cooler heater.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting McDonald's fillet of fish except when it's like Lent and people are not eating.
Or you could just ask for the thing fresh. Did you know you guys can do that? They'll do it for you. Anyway, if you're gonna try to be healthy, don't go to McDonald's. So anyway, we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and Jesus said, that doesn't matter. I have magic. Bring them here to me, he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Thousands of people. Lots of grass. That's a big yard. By the way, consider this. No lawnmowers back then. Not like you can hear outside right now. There's probably lawn mowing occurring that you can hear in the background. That's not a thing. That's just big, tall grass at all times. Just sitting down. I don't know.
This just makes me think of Dash Con, how they were like saying like, there's 15,000 people here, and there was clearly
like Rainbow Dash.
Dash Con was a convention for Tumblr that went really badly.
Tumblr.
And
wait, explain the name.
Dash Con, I don't know. I don't know. It
was a Tumblr convention.
Yeah, I just know there was it was shitty and went badly, and basically they said to the audience, if we don't get like $15,000 right now, the hotel is going to kick us out. And there was a ball pit. And someone peed in the ball pit.
Where's my Firefest documentary on DashCon?
Right? I know.
I want to see the guy pee in the ball pit. Or lady, I guess.
Internet Historian did a video on it. If you want to, it's like half an hour.
No, I want like an hour and a half full-length feature documentary. I want talking heads. I want expert analysis. I want to know if you were to get in that ball pit, how certain is it that you would get pee on you?
Oh, 100%. It wasn't like a McDonald's.
You can't just pee on the whole surface of ball pit.
It was a kiddie pool sized ball pit, so absolutely.
Wait, they had a kiddie pool with with like 14 balls in it?
Yes. It was hilarious.
All right, that's what I'm imagining now. So there's a kiddie pool and ball pit. 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread. Taking the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Wow.
I like that women don't count as people in these numbers, because of course they don't.
Well, no, right. I mean, have you, like, once you decided, hey, I'm going to live my true life, you forfeited personhood.
I was just going to say, actually, when there isn't a man here to observe me, I disappear into the ether.
That's true.
I only exist when I'm being objectified. It's great.
Wait, I've never objectified you.
No, but like this is the theoretical objectification by some weirdo out there who watches this video and for some reason is into mid-transition me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a sweet spot. It's like the middle of the Oreo. It's where the cream is. So we're gonna continue on. Strangely enough, Matthew, whoever Matthew is, let's call him Matthew, decided, you know what? This story is so good, I'm going to write it down twice, god damn it. But this time, I'm going to change the number to less.
This is the thing. We've often talked about how there are different versions of the stories in different books of the Bible. But this is the same book. They put the same story in the book twice. And it's twice Jesus produces food out of nowhere.
But it's not like it happens twice, right? It's very clearly the same story, but the words are different. The disciples are
shocked both times.
Yeah.
They're both... Why would they be shocked twice? They'd be like, oh yeah, this is like that time last week you did this.
Right. Huh. I don't know. Just pay attention. It seems like very clearly that there was two authors of this. They smashed them together, and during the what is that? The
Council of
Nicaea. I knew Nicaea, but not the council part. They decided, like, fuck it, he did it twice. I don't care.
Yeah.
In the same fucking story. All right, so here we go. Jesus feeds the 4,000. Matthew 15, verse 29. Jesus left there and went along the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up a mountainside and sat down. Great crowds came to him, bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and he laid them at his feet, and he healed them. It's exactly the same thing, except now there's a mountain, but he crossed the sea to get there. People followed him. Look out, they're sick. I healed them. Same shit. Doesn't change. The people were amazed when they saw the mute speaking, and crippled made well, the lame walking, and blind seeing, and they praised the God of Israel. I'm actually interested in, what do you think, like, was there faith healing? Like, in that way? Was this the first experience of faith healing people had? And they're like, holy shit, and there's like an organ guy in the background, like, and then like, bring forth yourself, and I claim in my own name, Jesus. And then
Jesus does that thing where he takes animal entrails and pretends he's doing psychic surgery,
like in Man on the Moon. Poor Jim Carrey.
Oh
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think there's any validity to the faith healing in that, like, faith healing was occurring, or is this just like a story? Like, do you think that faith healing was a thing during that time?
I think all healing, more or less, was faith healing at that time, even those they considered to be medical professionals.
I guess you're right.
Yes, I think the rabbi known as Yeshua probably did some stuff to heal people, and it was, if you saw it on video somehow, if you could get a time traveler and videotape it would probably look very similar to faith healing today, where he's like, everybody!
He's totally blind, and he just, like, wipes the crusties from the morning off of his eyelashes or some shit. Anyway, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. Because, again, it's well known that Jews are bad at planning lunch. Well-known fact.
I think he should have brought this up before day 3, by the way. They're already real hungry.
In Mein Kampf, Hitler was like, and they can't figure out lunch. I guess, trains. His disciples answered, where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd? And Jesus said, how many loaves do you have? And now, this is the big change, okay? Big change. Here it comes. We have 7 loaves and a few small fish. Holy shit. This must be a different time.
So they added 2 loaves of bread.
And a fish.
Does that make it easier or harder to do the miracle?
I don't know.
Does he have to make less extra bread because there's 2 extra bread? Or does he have to cast the make more bread spell
multiple times?
2 more times because there's 2 extra pieces of bread?
I don't know.
How many spell slots does Jesus have? Is he a warlock? Because he gets power from his dad.
Oof. He could be a cleric. He's probably a cleric. That makes sense.
Okay, sure.
He gets it from himself, too. Maybe he's a Sort cleric. There we go. We figured it out. We figured out his multi-class.
I want to play a Jesus-inspired character someday in D&D. That would be funny as fuck.
Then do it.
But like radical communist Jesus.
Right, Jesus.
Yes.
He told the crowd to sit down on the ground, and they're like, I mean, all of us? And he goes, yeah, sit down. And he took 7 loaves and fish, and when he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, and in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, except for that one person who's like, I don't like fish. It's like, Jesus is giving this to you. Eat it. Yeah, but I don't like it. Stop being picky, Georgie.
It's all the tiny bones.
How many times are you going to get fed by Jesus?
At least twice.
It's like turning down a peanut butter and banana sandwich from Elvis. You don't do that. You eat it.
I think it was a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Even better!
Yes.
Even better. You eat that shit. It's probably got cocaine on it instead of powdered sugar. Hell yeah. If you bite into a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich and your mouth goes numb, Elvis made it. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was 4,000 men, besides women and children. Again, couldn't possibly just add them to the number of people.
No.
After Jesus had sent the crowd away, he got into the boat and went to the vicinity of Magadan. Into the vicinity. So that's that. Terribly written. Just terribly written. I don't know what kind of fish it was. I don't know what kind of bread it was. I want to know the different flavor profiles. Like, this is why Guy Fieri is so important. Because he takes me on a trip to Flavortown. And I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm the mayor of Flavortown when Guy Fieri speaks to me about diners, drive-ins, and dives. Okay? Jesus didn't make me feel like that at all. Frankly, who's better? That's my question. His name is Guy. All right, what's the next one?
The next section is in Mark chapter 6, verse 30. Jesus feeds the 5,000. We're back to 5,000. This is another chapter that has both versions of the story, both the 4,000 and the 5,000. I don't know if we need to read the 4,000 this time, because even in terms of how repetitive the synoptic gospels are, that'd be real repetitive.
Okay.
We can, but
all right.
It's up to you.
We'll read this one. So this is Mark chapter 6, verse 30. Jesus feeds the 5,000. So it gets a little more flavorful now that Mark is here. Thanks, Mark. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. That sounds like a nice bro getaway. Where you just kind of go camping with your friends, take a nice boat out to a solitary place, and then a bunch of fans fucking follow you. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. Don't do this. Celebrities don't deserve this shit. They deserve better treatment. They're just people trying to do their best.
Unless you're Gwyneth Paltrow.
Unless you're Gwyneth Paltrow. In which case, I don't know, give her some yogurt or something. She needs to reactivate the biome of her vagina.
I was going to say, she's going to use that vagina and put it in her, for sure.
She
needs those active cultures.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, I can't, like, there's clean and then there's too clean. You could eat off of Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. And I don't like that. That's too clean. Not a fan.
God.
Not a fan. You can eat soup out of it. French onion soup.
I hate everything that's just come out of your mouth.
Except for the French onion soup, which was delicious. Cleaner than a bowl at Panera Bread. So, when Jesus landed, he saw a large crowd. He had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Well, now they're...
because they're outside? What do you mean?
People outside are like sheep without a shepherd. Oh, good times. So he began teaching them many things. Like what? By this time, it was late in the day, so his disciples came. This is a remote place, and it's very late. Send the people away so that they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat. Jesus said, "You give them something to eat." Mark likes angry, dumb Jesus. They said to him, "That would make more than half a year's wages." Okay, these guys are Republicans. That's it. Now it's like, feed them? Have you any idea the cost? Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat? Jesus said, "Oh God, no. That is not in our budget. I'll use magic. How many loaves do we have?" 5 and 2 fish. I didn't ask about fish. I asked about loaves, but thank you for the additional fish information. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s, taking... Okay, a group of 50s is just 50.
Yeah.
But groups of 50s sounds like also maybe we have 2 groups of 50s, which is one group of 100. I don't like how that's said.
Sounds like a shitty field trip in elementary school. We're like, okay, everyone, we're gonna organize, and you're like on a field trip. There's a bunch of other schools there too that day.
Or the fire drills. Drills around lunchtime, and they would do fire drills, and you'd have to all come out, and then they'd hand out half-frozen Uncrustables. Grape and peanut butter Uncrustables. Hell
I
yeah.
remember that.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys like systemic child abuse? That's what Uncrustables represent.
Speaking of systematic child abuse, Baja Blast, who grew up in Flint, Michigan, when they were in school, they had not fire drills. People would pull the fire alarm a lot.
Sure. And
it was the middle of winter, and when it got pulled, they made them go outside for like one time. I think she said it was like an hour or more or something like that, and they weren't allowed to get their coats or anything.
Hell yeah. That'll toughen you up.
The teachers, of course, got their coats though.
Yeah. That's good. And then the gym teacher was like, "Just huddle me for warmth." Don't do that.
God.
I had a touchy math teacher. We've talked about him before. He died. He used to rub shoulders. I told you about this. In math.
Yeah.
I was in his class on 9/11. He used to rub shoulders of the girls in class. Like, "Oh yeah, nice fucking long divisions." Like, "Okay, buddy. You're going to strike out there." So, they sat down, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to disciples to distribute to the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of men who had eaten was 5,000. So, you would keep reading this, and at the end, they always have extra.
Yeah.
Why do they have extra?
Because Jesus is a bad estimator.
Oh. Maybe he needs corrective eye lenses.
Maybe.
Well, they said they were broken up in the 50s and 100s, and he couldn't ballpark it.
You'd think he would have needed to heal his own eyes if he had like a lens issue or astigmatism.
Maybe he can only do it if it's catastrophic. If you need LASIK, he can't fix it. But if you're blind, yeah.
So he'd have to ice pick his eyes out and then heal it, and he's not here for that shit.
Yeah, no. Who is?
Okay.
Who is? So what's the next part?
We are going.
I wanted to look at it. What was the next Mark one?
Oh yeah, hold on. It's like the next page or next pages.
Mark 7?
No, it's a little bit after. One sec. I'm going to have to look.
That which defiles.
Mark chapter 8.
Okay.
The beginning.
The beginning. Sounds ominous. Let's see if it's any different at all. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to kind of skim it. So this is Jesus reads the 4,000s. No, wow. That is literally... Okay, so there's one difference. How many loaves do you have? 7. No fish mentioned. This is the anti-fish one. The end of this is actually kind of interesting. Blah, blah, blah. They eat it, yeah. The Pharisees came and began to question Jesus. To test him, they asked him for a sign from heaven. He sighed deeply and said, "Why does this generation ask for a sign? Truly, I tell you, no sign will be given to it." Then he left them, got back on the boat, and crossed the other side. That is, hey, can we have proof of your claims? And he goes, "Why? I'm not a proof person, okay? Like, facts are subjective, okay? He Jordan Peterson Sargon to them. It's just facts are not important. All right. Does Luke talk about this, or does John? Do both?
Both of them do, surprisingly. Luke chapter 9, verse 10. It's shorter than the other versions,
Oh,
though.
thank goodness.
Yeah.
So Jesus feeds the 5,000. This is in Luke 9, verse 10. Okay, so this says the town. When the apostles returned, they reported to Jesus what they had done. Then they took them with him and withdrew by themselves to a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it and followed him. He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God and healed those who needed healing. That is a way better way to write this. Luke crushed that. That is nice. That's just sort of like a blanket sort of way to take care of that. Well done.
Based on when we know these were written, he had an extra 50 years or so to work on it. So
It shows. Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging, because we are in a remote place." Jesus said, "You give them something to eat." He said, "We only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. Unless we go and buy more food."
It also doesn't solve the problem of lodging.
No, not at all. Well, they sleep outside. Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each. The disciples did so, and everyone sat down, taking the 5 loaves, 2 fish, looked up to heaven and gave thanks and broke them. And then everyone ate, and they were satisfied, and they picked up basketfuls of shit. So, I mean, it doesn't really change that much. But again, there's always these little differences. These little differences. Now, Christians like to say that this is like to show that it was real, right?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he ever do this kind of shit again? Why is there... Like, look, if you're Jesus, right, and you're worried about the Roman occupation, and you're paying taxes on your wheat, and you're paying taxes on your fish, wouldn't it behoove you to be like, "Fuck you, we're making a commune, bitch," and then go out into the desert, out of Roman territory, start a kingdom, create all the fucking fish and bread you ever wanted, and mount a revolution, instead of just dying like a cuck? You're a cuck for Roman torture. That's what you are. Not a sexual cuck. Those are valid. If you want to see somebody get fucked in front of you, you're valid. But come on. Don't sell your people down the river just because you got some sort of fucking actual Messiah complex. Feed them, take care of them. You have a moral responsibility to do so. Zack Snyder wrote the Bible.
Then, finally, in John chapter 6, verse 1, we have the final Jesus feeds 5,000.
Oh, the final one. Do you think it gets better? Let's see. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, that is, the Sea of Tiberias, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near. Not bad. This is some, again, kind of setting the scene, letting people know the feel. I feel like I'm there. It's very well written. It's like Dan Brown books. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" Oh, so now Jesus is the one worried. And then maybe Philip is going to go, "Use your magic powers, idiot." He asked this only... Oh, no. It was a test all along. He asked this only to test him, for he had already had in mind what he was going to do. Boom! Roasted. Fucking Jesus. 5D chess. Philip answered him, "It would take more than half a year's wages to buy bread for each one to have a bite." Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. Here is a boy with small 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among many? Wait.
So now they're taking
They just snatched some boy's bread and fish. Like, give me that. Okay. Yeah. You ever taken anything from a child before?
No, I don't like to be near children.
Right, but you like to harm them. You like to make them feel bad for being themselves. Take their shit. Best way to do it. Just like Jesus taught us. Jesus said, have the people sit down. There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. Implying that if there was no grass, sitting down would be very uncool. Jesus then took to the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted. So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. After the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, surely this is the prophet who has come into the world. Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew again to a mountain by himself. What do you mean, king by force? Please be our daddy.
They're gonna Life of Brian him. It's like,
okay.
Oh God, I like that it went from in the earlier version to Pharisees being like, can we get some evidence that this is real? To in this one being like, everyone was amazed. Believe me, it was fantastic. Everyone wanted him to be king.
It went from Matthew, Jeb Bush, please clap, to John, just a bunch of Trump sycophants that are just like, whatever he does is good. Fire into those crowds with tear gas, please.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
I want to go back in time to the first episode of this show with the Bible 8 years ago.
I'd prefer to stay over here.
And I want to be like, hey, in 8 years, you're going to be doing this show. Meanwhile, the president's going to be tear-gassing peaceful protesters so he can go and do a publicity photo shoot in front of a church while he holds a Bible upside down.
Can I toss out maybe a more constructive thing to tell us 8 years ago?
Yes.
Hey, you're a woman.
You know what?
You know, that might be a little bit more constructive.
You know, the thing is, I'm not even kidding. When I was really little, I was thinking about, because I was really into time travel stuff.
Ooh.
And even within, I'm telling you, the cognitive dissonance is fucking insane.
Yeah.
In my head, oh, future me shows up. The future me is a woman. But I didn't. I'm telling you, man. Cognitive dissonance is real.
Yeah.
And it is horrible.
That is strange. And interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So, when Jesus shows back up, she's going to be a woman. So. That's what the rapture is all about. Trans rights. And just whisks the transphobes away. What a fucking... How fucking bummed would they be? That'd be like... That would be their Justice League. Or their Game of Thrones final season. You know what I mean? Like all that we've built up for all of these years. Just for the end to be disappointing for us specifically. And only a small percentage of people, the right percentage of people, enjoy it. Hell yeah.
That's the one thing about there not being a god that kind of sucks. No actual retribution for awful people. They never actually get to know objectively they're wrong.
We could burn down their targets and they will weep forever. Oh.
Hey, the 1% inflicts violence upon the working class via economic means. The only means of violence they understand is economic violence. So you go smash that target and get yourself a TV. I don't care.
You know what? In
Minecraft,
the concept of smashing the capitalist infrastructure that caused the reason chattel slavery existed is pretty reasonable in my opinion. For those that are embattled by the effects of said chattel slavery. It makes a lot of philosophical sense and kind of literal sense, because they don't listen to you when you peacefully protest. They don't listen to you when you semi-non-peacefully protest. But guess what just happened? We got that cop charged for murder, and it got bumped up to second degree, and now all 3 of the other officers have been arrested. Hey, it works. It works. Hit them where it hurts. It's certainly not in their hearts where empathy resides or ethics reside. You know what hurts the most? Their fucking pockets. And that's sad, but that's where it hurts. So keep doing you. You're doing a good job. You have full support from this here channel.
So that's it for this episode of the Bible. It won't be another 6 months.
No, it won't.
No.
I got very busy. My birthday is this weekend, and I am working throughout the whole thing.
I know. I gotta. Your gift's not gonna be here before then.
That's okay. I'm not gonna be able to celebrate it until after.
Oh, that's good. Once we can, we'll all go out and do something.
I want a steak, damn it!
Yeah.
I want a big beefy steak from a dead cow that suffered greatly. You're right, vegans, but I don't care! Anyway, that's it. It's hot as balls in here, actually.
The air conditioner setup. Did you see in the background
Ooh.
here? It's fantastic.
Is it on right now?
It is.
Ooh, maybe I'll turn mine on. Can you hear it?
There's maybe a low rumble, but
Ooh,
like
it's so cool in
noticeable.
here. It's probably more noticeable on this end because I have noise cancellation in Discord, but not on here. So anyway, listen to my rumbly, delicious cold air filter into my office. If you want more content all the time, we are constantly churning out the good stuff like a Dutch milkmaid. Go to our twitch.tv/actualjake or twitch.tv/Hannah Reloaded for all the good stuff. I dress up in corn sometimes. She dresses up in tinfoil. It's we're just debased, debauched, correct people, and that's really what it is. That's what it's all about. You'll be seeing a lot of highlights show up on this channel, so you'll have a good amount of content. But again, if you're starving for more, it's endless. Is on the Twitch. So go to the Twitches. It's a good time. You can follow for free. I know that you're a YouTube person. You're like, I don't like change. Well, YouTube sucks for creators, so if you want to support us, Twitch is where to be.
Yeah.
Anyway. Alright, fuckers. Go burn
Patreon,
something down.
Twitters.
Oh, that's fine, too.
Patreon, Twitters. Oh, good news, everyone. Professor Farnsworth. My transition fund hit its goal, so thank you everyone who donated to that.
There we go.
Appreciated.
And it's not a scam, because we will have proof of the taxidermy dong that will sit above the office. Actually, I think you need lots of those parts. But still, whatever's left, damn it.
I'll see what happens when the oriectomy happens, if I can keep the balls.
That's what I'm saying. We need to keep something. We need to try to keep. How about even a picture of the balls? Will they let us take a high-res photo of the? It's vivisected and removed testicles, and we could get them on a beautiful. Like, I'll pay for a portrait, and we'll get 2. One we can keep for you, and we can be like, fuck you, nature, or something like that. And then the other one we can just send to your dumb dad. Yeah?
Is it a federal offense to send body parts?
Well, actual body parts, maybe, but a picture of body parts, nope, that's art. We thought he would appreciate it. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has gone on far too long. Also, if you like, we do play D&D. That'll be happening Thursday and almost every Thursday in the foreseeable future. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. If you're like, but I won't know what's happening. Got a whole backlog. Totally fine. So, come hang out with us. We love you deeply. And like I said before, go burn something.
Oh, God, in Minecraft. Go burn things in Minecraft. In Minecraft. In Minecraft! I see you.
In The Sims?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
No, I'll stop. Okay.